Hare Krishna. So we'd like to welcome everybody. Let's give it a minute. More people will join and then we'll start. Okay, we'll start with Jai Radha Madhav as people are coming in. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Ramana Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Srila Prabhupada ki jai Granthra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we would like to welcome everybody for this session. Today we'll be covering the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, the flow of next 1 hour is going to be is that we'll read the verse number 1. We'll read translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. After that, I have a PowerPoint presentation. We'll walk through different concepts of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen and then we will recite together. I'll read the purport. Then I'll chant some prayers called Mangalacharan. If you're interested to know what they are, you can just look online. It's called Mangalacharan prayers and then you can follow with me. And you can also say those prayers. It's good to say those prayers. Everybody should speak those prayers. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen and then we will get started. Okay? So this is actually a famous, where did it go? No, that's not 1 second. I thought I had it open. I see. Okay. 1 second. Okay, here I'll share now. Okay. So chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Okay. You can also repeat after me. I'll say and then you say after me. Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Samaveta Yuyutsava
Samaveta
Mamaka Pandavaschaiva
Mamaka Pandavashaiva
Kim akurvata Sanjaya.
किम
किमकुर्वत
कुर्वत सञ्जय?
सञ्जय.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra desiring to fight, what did they do? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya, which is what we were reading just on last Thursday. Glorification of Gita. There it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. The example of clear understanding is there in Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand the Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. One will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the readers will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. This is the specific standard of Gita. It is a perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, as described in the Mahabharata, form the basic principle for this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of Vedic age. It was spoken by Lord when he was present personally on this planet for the guidance of mankind. The word Dharamchetre, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of Kurus, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, what did they do? He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers, and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to be fought in Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven, Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjaya was the student of Vyasadeva, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyasa, Sanjaya was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. And so Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family herein. He deliberately claimed. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews, the sons of Pandu. As in the paddy field the unnecessary plants are taken out, so it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion Sri Krishna was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana and others would be wiped out, and the thoroughly religious persons headed by Yudhishthira would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the words Dharamkshetre and Kurukshetra, apart from their historical and Vedic importance. Now I'll recite Mangalacharan. As I said, if you want, you can search on Google, search for Mangalacharan. Actually, let me just open it. Let me see. Mangalacharan prayers. Okay, let's see if we can find them. Okay, I think these are the ones. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Vangam Langayate Girim Yatkripātamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So once again, welcome everybody. So here we are on the chapter 1 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So let's see how many devotees have assembled here. So what I'm going to do is, since this is a session, I'm going to be checking in between to see how you are grasping the topic. Okay, so I'll check on all of you. So we'll get started now. So here, the beginning, he's saying Dhritarashtra Vacha. Dhritarashtra spoke. Dharam Kshetre Kurukshetre. The word itself, the first word of Bhagavad Gita, is spoken by Dhritarashtra, who is on the side of irreligion. We read in the purport that he knows the value and importance of Kurukshetra. He also knows that this has been going on for a very long time, that there is always a disagreement between his sons and the sons of Pandu. Prabhupada explains in the purport that actually both are Kurus, because it's the Kuru Vansh. It came from Maharaj Kuru, so both are actually Kauravas. But because Dhritarashtra was the king, because Pandu died, he made his sons, he called his sons the Kauravas, and he called the sons of his brothers as Pandavas. That means his brothers' sons are sons of Pandavas, but his sons are the descendants of Kuru. So there is clearly a discrimination between him, his sons, versus his brother's sons, right? We see the mentality of Dhritarashtra right in the first verse. There's so much in this one verse only, and Prabhupada is explaining this nicely, that actually he's saying Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. Mamaka is my son, and Pandavas Chaiva, sons of Pandu. And they have assembled in Kurukshetra. So he's saying this Kuru dynasty is mine, it belongs to my son. Sons of Pandu are separate, that's why he's calling them Pandavas. But he also knows that this is the Dharma Kshetra. He also knows that his sons are on the side of irreligion, and the sons of Pandu were on the side of righteousness or religion. So Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that this verse itself, the first beginning verse itself, shows the mentality of Dhritarashtra, what he's thinking, and also in a way it predicts the outcome of the war, because it's just starting. See, when Dhritarashtra spoke, Krishna somehow, or Saraswati we can say, put word in his mouth, that the first word that came out of his mouth was Dharmakshetri. If you know the famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata, right? That's the most famous verse of Bhagavad Gita. Abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamiham. So Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glani. Glani means decline. So whenever there's a decline in the level of religion, dharma, that's when Krishna comes. Okay? And now here Dhritarashtra is saying Dharam Chetri. So this, the first verse itself predicts the outcome of the entire Bhagavad Gita and the entire battlefield of Kurukshetra. Samaveta is the assembled Yuyutsava for fighting. And again, Prabhupada explains that he did not want a compromise, because compromise means that he'll have to give something to Pandavas, and he did not want to give it because his sons were very adamant, very firm that nothing should go to Pandavas, to the point that even they asked for 5 villages, and Duryodhan said, not even 5 villages, I cannot give them even the land which is equal to the tip of 5 needles, something like that. He said, I cannot give them anything. So it was clear that there was not going to be any compromise, so the fight was sure, and this Dhritarashtra knows this. So he's saying Yuyutsava, that means they assembled for the fighting. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. And because he's in anxiety, he's saying Kim Kurvata Sanjaya. Oh Sanjaya, tell me what exactly are they doing? Because minute by minute, hour and hour, he's worried, where is this battlefield going? You know, sometimes people watch cricket match, and if it's final and if it's between India and Pakistan, then people are in so much anxiety, they cannot think of anything else except they just minute by minute they want to watch. And that's just a game. But here the situation is that his whole family, his whole dynasty is at stake. He wants to know minute by minute what's going on. So as soon as they assemble together on the battlefield, Dhritarashtra asked, Oh Sanjay, tell me what exactly is going on. So there's a lot which is explained only in first verse. But because we have to cover a whole chapter today, so I'm going to go a little faster. But otherwise, if we just spend 15-20 minutes on each verse, then it's going to be days before we can finish this. So this verse I want to highlight because this is the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. It in many ways tells you how the flow is going to go if you take a closer look at the verse. And the best thing about this presentation is that Srila Prabhupada, when he presents, he gives every little details which we may not be able to see. He's starting by Gita Mahatmya, Glories of Gita, which is what we were reading Thursday. So after Glories of Gita, we come to this chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so I'm going to now go to a PowerPoint presentation which I have. So let me see if you all can. Okay, so I'm going to share that screen. Okay, so before we go, is everything clear so far? Whatever we spoke on the first verse?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, good. Are there any questions about that? Quick question. Okay, nothing? Then we'll just go forward. Okay, so I'm going to share the PowerPoint and then you will see. Okay, this is what we read. This is a complete PowerPoint, gives you all the details. Our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada who gave us this presentation of Bhagavad Gita, which is as it is, very clear, the most powerful presentation of Bhagavad Gita in the world in terms of just the statistics, the number of Bhagavad Gitas that have been sold and read, the number of languages it has been translated into, the number of devotees of Krishna that have come out from this Bhagavad Gita is by far the highest in the world. That's why this is very effective and it's good we all are here reading Bhagavad Gita. But our thanks goes to Srila Prabhupada. That's why we always start with taking his blessings. Okay? They're also inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Okay, this is something we were reading last week. Gita Mahatmya, Gita Shastram, Idam Punyam, Ya Pathet Prayata Puman, Vishnu Padam Avavnoti, Bhaya Shokadi Varjita. If you remember, I was explaining last Thursday that if a person carefully studies Bhagavad Gita, then eventually they will achieve the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And the effect of that, just the first effect of that is Bhaya Shoka Adi Varjita. You become free from fear and lamentation. And I was also explaining that fear is typically for things that are coming in the future or even present, and Shoka is typically for things which we are lamenting from the past. So by reading and understanding Bhagavad Gita, not only we get the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, but we also get rid of things from the past and things which are bothering us for the future. So this is the effect of reading Bhagavad Gita. Ya patet prayata pumana. If one person carefully reads Bhagavad Gita, then this is what you get. Okay? So chapter 1 is observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This is what we read. Dhritarashtra Vacha Dharamkshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yusava Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. Okay? So so basically in this presentation we are going to highlight some of the key verses because we cannot cover all of them. So this is 115. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Deva Tattam Dhananjaya Paundram Dadmo Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrukodara. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Pondra. So not only they were just exceptional conch shells, but actually they had specific names and a specific sound also. That's why it is said that when Krishna was entering Dwarka, he blew his conch shell, and everybody knew that it was Krishna who was blowing the conch shell. So when they blow their conch shell, it has a specific sound. Actually, if you pay close attention, every conch shell has a different sound, slightly different. You take two conch shells looking exactly the same, but if you blow them, you will see a slight difference in the sound. Sometimes you see a huge difference, but definitely every conch shell is different, and so is the conch shell of the Lord. So his conch shell is Panchajanya, Arjuna is Devadatta, and Bhima is Pondra. So these are the three conch shells which are being described here. Actually, many other, even the Kurus, they also blew their conch shell. Okay, now the interesting thing is, just see how the detail of how it is given. So Pandavas blew their conch shell, and their names are described, and also their qualities described. The Kauravas also blew their conch shell, but their names are nowhere in this first chapter. But who is speaking these words? It is Sanjay, because Dhritarashtra cannot see. So Sanjay is giving all these details, what's going on, who is blowing conch shell, where is he, what are the different warriors, where are they standing. He's giving all the details. And he is on the side of Kurus. So he is on the side of Dhritarashtra, yet he is not calling out the names of the conch shells of his side. He is calling out the names of the conch shells on the opposite side, which is Krishna, Arjuna, and Bhima, because those are the most dangerous and formidable warriors on the other side. This Arjuna, Krishna, and this Bhima. Okay. So after all this is described, that who all are there, and he describes the qualities of different warriors, which side they are from, all those details he gives. Then he gives that, okay, now he's blown his conch shell. Now he's talking about what Arjuna is going to do. This chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. That means the condition of Arjuna. Vishada means he's just torn in his heart, trying to decide whether he should fight or not. So he's in actually very difficult situation. So that's why it's called Vishada Yoga. And in English, we say observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Okay. So here Arjuna is speaking now. Senayor madhye ratham sthapayami achyuta yavadeta niriksheham yodho kaman avasthitan kairmaya saha yodhyamyam asmin rana samudhyame. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Okay, so the first thing he's asking Arjuna, Krishna, please bring my chariot in between these two armies. I want to see who all have come here for fighting. I'm going to do one thing here. I would like to see who all are the participants. I'm going to hook up one more monitor, see if that works. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. Okay, so I have these two monitors. Give me a second. I just want to adjust my screens. Okay, I want to see. Okay, I think it's going to take me longer to. Never mind. I think we'll just keep continuing going with this. Okay. So we were reading. So Arjuna is asking, please bring me in the middle of the battlefield. I want to see who are all the people who have come here to fight with me. Okay. So now, when Arjuna sees everybody on the battlefield, then his first reaction is that he is actually very disturbed, extremely disturbed. I'm going to show you the verses which are spoken. If you can go to Bhagavad Gita and read verse number 28 of this chapter, or let me share my whole screen. That way you can see everything, my entire desktop. Okay. And then I'm going to go back and forth between different things. So here you go. So if you see here, verse number 28, I'll just read a few verses and then I'll describe to you what they are. Okay, Arjuna Vaja. Arjuna Vacha Drushtimam Iswajanam Krishnam Yuyutsam Samupastitam Sidanti Mama Gatrani Mukham Cha Parishushati. My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth is drawing up. So the first symptom he is experiencing after seeing both sides is that Sidanti mama gatrani. My limbs are becoming almost, he's losing energy in his arms. He cannot stand up, he cannot move his hand, and mukham cha parishushati, the mouth is drying up. That typically happens when a person is in a lot of anxiety or fear or in a very awkward, unpleasant situation. That's when what this happens. Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushati. Okay. वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते गाण्डीवं संसते हस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते. My whole body is trembling. So he's already experiencing these symptoms. My hair is standing on the end. My bow, Gandiva, is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. Now here we have Arjuna, who is the best warrior in the world at that time. He fought many battlefields. This is not the first time he's doing it. He even fought a battlefield with the same people who are here when they were living in incognito in their, I forget the name of the place, but where they were.
In
And
Virat
that
place, Virat Raja's place.
Virat Raj, yes, thank you, Mataji. At Virat Raja, when they were all doing different things in the kingdom, when they fought the battlefield, that time also, a lot of the same people were there. But in this particular situation, he's extremely scared because he knows the outcome is going to be not good. So his whole body is trembling, hair standing on air, and Gandhi was slipping, and skin is burning. न च शक्नोमि अवस्थातुं ब्रह्मतीव च मे मना निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only cause of misfortune, O killer, O Krishna, killer of Keshi demon. It's interesting that he is calling him Keshi. He's calling him the killer of Keshi demon, Krishna, Keshava. Okay. Now Keshi demon was actually a demon and he was trying to harm Krishna. Keshi came in the form of a horse and he was trying to harm Krishna really bad, but then Krishna killed him. But here these people, they are actually his family members. So he's telling Krishna that you killed Keshi demons, that's okay. But here is everybody is in my family, one way or the other. So no matter who gets killed, in the end, it's going to be a family member who's going to die. So that's why he's saying, Namittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava, that everywhere I see only the cause of misfortune, because it doesn't matter whichever way the battlefield goes, it is going to cause misfortune for me. So he's presenting all these points. Na cha shriyonupashyami hatva swajanamave na kangshe vijayam krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha. I do not see how any good can come out from killing my own kinsmen in the battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. He's saying, Na kangshe vijayam Krishna. I have no desire to win because if I win, half of my family has to die. Na cha rajyam sukhani cha. I do not want the happiness of the kingdom also because it's going to come at the cost of the blood of my relatives. So I do not want it. Na cha shreyo anupashyami. Shreyo means good. Anupashyami, to see. I do not see any good coming out of this battlefield. You see this? Na cha shreyo anupashyami hatva swajanam ahave. By killing my own kinsmen, I do not see anything good coming out of it. Therefore, I have no desire for this kingdom or this victory. I don't want any of those things. Kim no rajena govinda kim bhogir jivaten va yesham arte kangshitam no rajyam bhoga sukhani cha ta ime avasthita yuddhe pranam tyaktva dhanani cha acharya pritara putras tathaiva cha pitamaha matula swasura pautra shala sambandhinas tatha एतान्न हन्तुम् इच्छामि ज्ञातोऽपि मधुसूदना अपि त्रैलोक्यराजस्य हेतो किं नु मही कृते निहत्य धास्राष्ट्रान्न का कीर्ति स्यात् जनार्दना. O Govinda, of what avail to us are the kingdom, happiness, or even life itself when all those for whom we may desire them are now arranged on the battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in the exchange of the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So he's giving all these reasons of why he does not want to fight. He's going one by one. Okay, let me go back to this one. Okay, so now this is the summary of all the points which Arjuna is making. That his body is quivering, mouth is drying up, whole body is trembling, and his hairs are standing on end. My Gandiva blow is slipping from my hand, my skin is burning, I am unable to stand here any longer, I am forgetting myself, my mind is reeling, and Viparitani Keshava, I see only the cause of misfortune. If you go back here, you will see more and more reasons he is giving. He is basically building his case. This whole chapter, one by one, he is presenting all the possible points he can think of for Krishna to be convinced that we should not fight. Okay? Here. Papam evashrayedasman hatpaitan atatainan tasman naryavayan hantum dhatarashtran sabandhavan swajanam hi katam hatva sukhina shyama madhava. So in this chapter, actually, before I read the translation, in this chapter, Krishna is not going to speak anything. It is only Arjuna presenting his case for why he should not fight. Krishna is just looking at him, smiling. He's not saying anything. Let him finish speaking whatever he wants to speak. Krishna will not say anything. He's not even interrupting him. He wants us to complete his thought process, just say whatever he has to say. So one by one, he's putting all these points, and Krishna is not saying anything. Okay? The next thing he's saying, sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Is interesting. If you slay the aggressors, actually it's not a sin. Manu Samhita says that there are different kinds of aggressors, and one of them is that if anybody takes away your property or wealth, if that person is killed, then that's not a sin. If someone puts a fire in your house and that person is killed, that's not a sin. So similarly, if someone is aggressor, because the Kauravas, they took away the properties of Pandavas. So if Pandavas kill them, actually it's not a sin. But he is so soft at this point that he's saying that sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressor. He's calling them aggressors, but still he's saying that it will be sinful to do that. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So here, Arjuna is calling him Madhava. Okay, Madhava means the husband of goddess of fortune. So he is telling him that you are the husband of goddess of fortune. Why are you causing all this misfortune? That you want me to fight here and then kill everybody. That's the highest misfortune that can happen to me. Why do you want me to go through that when you yourself are the husband of the goddess of fortune? He's Lakshmipati. So he's saying you're Lakshmipati and you are pushing me for all this destruction. Okay, so that's another point he's telling him. Yadyapyetena pashyanti lopopahata chetasa kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradohe chapatakam katam nageyam asmabi papadasmin nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbhir janardhana. O Janardhana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? See the soft-hearted nature of Arjuna. He's saying these people on the other side, they are overtaken by greed and they see no problem in killing us. But why should we be like them that we try to kill them? But actually, they are the ones who are aggressors. He just told the verse before that they are the ones who are aggressors, but we should let them go. And now he's saying that even if they want to kill us, that's fine, but we should not do the same thing. So he is actually very soft at this point, that he doesn't want war at any condition. Now he is giving further reasons, okay, that why it should not be done. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kula dharma sanatana dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo avibhavyatuta. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in a religion. Because when the leaders of the family are gone, then the children and wives, they will not know how to go properly on the path of religion. So eventually they will become irreligious. That's what he's saying. Adharmabhivavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriya Srishu dushtasu varsneya jayate varnasankara. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted. And from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. So now he is predicting the future. If all these men in the battlefield, when they die, their family will not have anybody to take care of them. Then their kids and their wives, they will be somewhat like orphans. And if they are in that situation, they will not know what is right, what is wrong, and eventually they will get involved in illicit activities. And then the children that are born from that, they will be Varna Sankara, unwanted population. So basically saying the quality of the people living is going to go down because the men who are leading the society, they'll all be killed. Okay, so he has some valid points. So whatever he can think of, he's presenting these points one by one in front of Krishna. Okay. Sankaro narakayeva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro yesham lupta pindo dako kriya. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life for both the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance for offering them food and water is entirely stopped. So now he's saying not only that they will become corrupt, unwanted population will come, but also on top of it, all the religious projects or all the religious processes, they will all be stopped. Okay. So at this point, I'd like to check. So how are we doing? Is everybody paying attention? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody's following?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, let's see what's the chat saying. Okay, that's good. Okay, makes sense. Perfect. Okay. All right. So I'll keep going with this. It's 8:12. Okay. I'll just read one or two more and then we'll move further because we still have quite a few words to cover. दोषे रहते कुलज्ञानां वर्णसंकरकारके उत्साद्यन्ते जाति धर्म कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वता. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated because the whole social structure is destroyed. When that happens, then naturally the things are not in order. So whatever welfare activities are going on, they actually become disturbed. Okay. उत्सन्कुल धर्मानां मनुष्याणां जनार्दना नरके नियतं वासो भवतीति अनुशुश्रमा. So now he's saying that I've heard from my superiors that when all these family traditions are destroyed, then the people who are actually in the family, they go to hell. So he is actually taking the point to the extent that if we kill all these people, their descendants will not have any direction in life. They will engage in irreligious activities. When that happens, then eventually these families will also go to hell. That's what he's saying. Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yad rajya sukulobena hantum swajanam adyuta udyita. Oh, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit gratefully sinful activities. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing all our own kinsmen. So here he's saying, Aho bata mahat papam. This, whatever we are trying to do here, is actually a mahat papam, is a big sin. Kartum vyavasita vayam. And the reason we are doing all this is because yad rajya sukhalobhena, the greed to enjoy the rajya. Yad rajya sukha lobhena Hantum swajanam udyata. We are actually trying to kill our own swajana. Hantum is to kill, swajana is our family members. So just to enjoy the kingdom, we are willing to kill our own family men. And he's saying, oh, bata, oh, how wonderful it is, how strange it is that we are ready to commit the sinful activity of killing our family members just so that we can enjoy the kingdom. He's actually very strongly feeling that this is the worst thing we can do at this point, to kill all these people just for the kingdom. Okay? Then he's saying that then he's going further. He's saying, even if they kill me and I stand without any worms, I'm okay if they kill me. That's better than trying to kill them. Okay? So these are all the points which have been presented. Then Sanjaya Vacha. Emamuktva Arjuna Sankhe Rathopastopavishat Vishsrizam Sasaram Japam Soka Samvignamanasa. This is the last word he's saying. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overrun with grief. So he put aside his bows and arrows. He's extremely grief-stricken and he just sat on the chariot. They're not supposed to sit on the chariot. They're supposed to stand it because they are about to fight. But here he is so disturbed that actually he just sat down and he said, I will not fight. Okay, so let's go back to these. So these are all in the presentation. He's giving all these points: compassion for the friends and relatives, no enjoyment even if victorious, fear of sinful reaction, destruction of family traditions, and finally indecision. Okay, so at this point, I think these are the points so you saw in this chapter. I mean, I was going to go through this presentation, but the verses themselves are so clear and so nice that we just ended up reading all the verses. So this is basically the overall setting up the battlefield, where Arjuna is confused and he's putting all these points in front of Krishna, and he decided not to fight. And that's where the chapter ends. So at this point, are there any questions or comments? I think I've been going for almost 50 minutes now. So I think we can open up for any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
They choose the Kurukshetra for the battlefield. But why Kurukshetra? Why not any other place?
That's a very interesting question. So, Kurukshetra is actually very close to Hastinapur, right? And Kurukshetra is also known for Dharmashetra, correct? It says Dharmashetra Kurukshetra. So when there is a fight about Dharma, both sides are thinking that we are on the side of Dharma. So when the point is presented, okay, then let's go to Dharmashetra and decide. Then both sides will say, okay, I will go. But they are thinking they are on the side of Dharma, and so is Arjuna. So they have come to the battle Dharmashetra, so that whatever comes out of it is actually Dharma. That's why the first word is Dharmchetre. So Prabhupada is explaining that itself decides the outcome of the battle. Just first word, not even first word. Just the first word itself tells you कि यहाँ क्या होने वाला है, what's going to come.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, sure. Anything else? Was it clear, all of it? Because we did a whole chapter.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All clear? Okay. Okay, question on the chat. How can we access the 2 documents that we shared? Oh, sure, I can send this PowerPoint to you on that group, and also I can send you this link. I can send you both. That's Aruna Guru Prasad. Sure, I'll send it to you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Sure. So since we have a lot of devotees here, can you all please put on the chat which part of the world you are? I believe some are from here in US, and I think some in India. I just don't know who's from where. So if you can just type in the chat saying where you are from. I'd just like to know where the... Okay, New Jersey, New York. Okay. Okay, New Jersey. Malaysia. New Jersey, New Jersey, Maryland, Cleveland, Hungary. Okay. New Jersey, New Jersey, New Jersey. Okay. Nobody from India? I thought there were devotees from India also. Anyway, that's good. I think we have a good wide audience. So, are there any more questions or comments? Okay. All right. In that case, we can conclude, and then we will see you tomorrow. So I'm going to put a quiz just about whatever we discussed today, and then and the recording also for the session, we'll put it out. Okay, so I would suggest that you go back and read, because if you read these things while we are doing this 18-day, if you read it, then you will actually benefit more, because if you do not read, you'll forget, and by the time we reach 9th chapter, we forget what was in the first one or second one. So better to read.
Prabhu. Yeah, I have a question, Prabhu.
Mataji.
Thank you for the class. Good. I have a question about the last Thursday about the Gita Mahatmya. Well, is there, it's only Shankaracharya that we follow, or like, or any Gaudiya Math having Gita Mahatmya, or
I'm sure there are other Gita Mahatmyas also, but Shankaracharya is our primary Acharya. That's one thing. Even though we are not followers of Shankaracharya, we respect him as the Acharya. And because he wrote the clear and concise Mahatmya glories of Bhagavad Gita, that has become very popular in the impersonal world, in the Brahmavadis, and also in the Vaishnava society, because everybody respects him as an Acharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also respected him as an Acharya.
okay, yeah.
When he wrote it, then that became very prominent. But that's not to say the others have not written glories of Bhagavad Gita. It's just this is the prominent one. That's why we focus on this. We can look if there are others. I always, whenever it comes to Gita Mahatmya, it's usually the Shankaracharya. Now, I was hearing a class few years ago where Gita Mahatmya from, I believe, Padma Puran, which describes the glories of each chapter. So,
Okay.
this is, I remember 8th chapter, Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Madhyatma, Kim Karma Purushottama, that verse, right? So when someone spoke, I'm just telling you what I've heard, bits and pieces. So there was this, I believe, Brahmana who became a Brahma Rakshas because of certain situation. Again, I just remember only a few pieces of it. So there was a Brahma Rakshas in the tree, and these Brahmanas were traveling, and in the night, they were just taking a break in the journey, and they used to recite Bhagavad Gita wherever they went. So that particular night, they recited this 8th chapter. And as soon as they finished reciting half of the verse, Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Madhyatma, Kim Karma Purushottama, just half of it, Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Madhyatma, Kim Karma. As soon as they recited half of it, the tree fell apart and something came out of it, and they were liberated. These Brahmanas had no clue. So these glories of different chapters of Bhagavad Gita are described. I believe they are in Padma Purana. I remember hearing it from Jayapataka Maharaj long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Class on each glory of each chapter. So when it came to 8th chapter, I just stood out because that verse was very prominent. So like that, I think there are different glories of Bhagavad Gita, but when it comes to summarized, very concise Mahatmya of 7 verses, Shankaracharya is the prominent. That one, the one he's present.
Okay, yeah, I take it. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I didn't know about the other
There
stories.
was, I remember bits and
But
pieces.
no. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So if there's nothing else, we'll conclude here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So I'll post everything and then we will see you tomorrow at 7:30. 7:30.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Tomorrow. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.